Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with yet another deck tech, and I'm continuing the theme I started earlier this week with some partners. Today's partners are probably more along the CEDH line than anything else. You'd have seen them in CEH decks, and I decided it's time to do something slightly more competitive than what I usually do instead of my general. Let's have some fun with this card and see what we can do around it. So, with all that in mind, please be ready for the wonderfulness that is the partner pairing of Vial Smasher the Fierce and Thrasios Trition Hero. So we'll start with Trition Hero. Blue and a green for a 1/3 legendary merfolk with a nice ability that says 4 mana, scry 1. Then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, otherwise draw a card. And it's a partner. Vial Smasher, as you probably know and you've seen a few times by now. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, choose an opponent at random. Vial Smasher deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to that player or planeswalker that player controls. They're a really good partner pairing. It's one of the most powerful ones I think we've seen in Magic for a long time. They've been turning up for a while now in all different formats. Sometimes together, not that often unless you play a lot of CEDH. But most of the time, they've just been turning up as the other half of the partner pairing. But, you know, this is one of the partner pairings I've wanted to do for a while. I'm lucky that in real life I own both of these cards. So I've picked them up. Triton and Vial Smasher probably are two of the most expensive partner pairings you can buy on MTGO. Vial Smasher is just around about 5 tickets, if I remember correctly. And I think Thrasios isn't that far behind as well. So what are we doing with this deck? Basically, we're going to try and abuse both the abilities by doing some really strange things and hoping that we get there and get things done. And this is what the deck looks like. We have got all sorts of lands that you can imagine, including Fabled Passage, Field of the Dead, a couple of each of the basics just to keep us off the whole problem around Blood Moon that's starting to rear its head again in the few games I've played recently. But it's also got some different cards in it. One of those is Besieger, who shelters all, because when we do cast our instants and sorceries, we want them to go off, and we want it to happen, and we need them to resolve, because some of the cards that we have are depending on us being able to do this. So that's the land base. I'm not going to go through it all. You can go down below, look at the deck list. You can see them all in there. There's some choices. We've got the new tri-lands that cycle. We've got some of the old tri-lands that don't cycle but come into play taps. So they don't do any different. But it's all there. Field of the Dead's fairly key because we do need to get some blockers in because we're not running that many creatures. I mean, we're playing 32 creatures and 29 other spells. So it's a little bit light on creatures, but it gets there. As for the ramp for this deck, Mox Tantalite, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Solemn Simulacrum, and Explosive Vegetation are the main ways we're going to ramp. We're going to have to do it this way. We have got some other creatures that give us ramp as well, so bear that in mind, but they're the main ones to come into play at the moment. So if we just go through the cards, it's a really good deck. I have to say, it's one of my favourite decks I've built for a while, and it does do what you need to do. Basically, it ramps really hard, gets you there, and then you get to cast the big stuff down the end that I'll get to. So we've got a few little things. We've got Ponder, just so we can manipulate the top of our library. You could replace this with Divining Top if you wanted to, but Ponder lets you draw the card, but it's up to you. If you can't remember what Divining Top does, nope, I can't spell today, I've decided. It's not legendary, that's why. Haha. Hold on a second. There you go. So you could replace Ponder with Sensei's Divining Top if you wanted to. It'd make it even a little bit more powerful. To be fair, it's probably a better call, so we will just do that while we're here. So we'll put Divining Top in. Training Grounds is nice. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost up to 2 less to activate, which is really nice when you've got Thranos in play, because that means you're paying 2 to scry 1 and possibly get a land or a card, which isn't the worst value in the world. There's a few other little things Training Grounds does with some of the other creatures as we go through it, but we'll get to them. Vandal Blast to control the board, blow up everyone else's artifacts. Birds of Paradise for the ramp. Burgeoning for the ramp. Hopefully we'll have a lot of lands in our hands all through the game. So when our opponents play lands, especially when we get this out on turn 1, we'll be ramping hard as we go through it. Elvish Mystic, Elvish Hire, Finals elves, Llanowar elves, they're all in. I've also included Ignoble Hierarch because why not? It's got the 3 colours in it that we need that it taps for. Also does the Exalted thing, which does help occasionally when we're attacking. I've chucked in Elixir of Immortality, which is not the first choice in this deck at all, if you look at any of them up on EDH Rec or anything like that. But I always like to try and include Elixir of Immortality, because I'm always worried about spells getting countered and not having anything to do. So this helps me shuffle it all in. Hopefully it doesn't get exiled, but hey, it's a risk I take every time I play this card. Over to the 2 drops. Cyclonic Rift, control the board. Phantasmal Image to... Come on. Shift over, thank you. Phantasmal Image, so we can copy anything that's on the board that we might need an extra copy of. Mana Drain, so we have a little bit of counter value for those big spells that annoy us. Bloom Tenderer, so we can ramp a little bit harder. And it's also not a bad beta for 1-1 eventually. Farseek gets some ramp as well. Secura Tribe Elder gets us ramp out. 3 Visits goes and gets us cards we need. Assassin's Trophy kills anything that's upsetting. It's yes, our opponents get basic land, but not many people play basic lands unless they're mono. Biomancer's Familiars here. Again, if you've got this out, it reduces the activated costs of abilities. It means that with this and Training Grounds in play, Thranos is basically free to do, which makes it ridiculously stupid. I've included Coiling Oracle because I want to be getting the cards in my hand and drawing things. Likewise, Lonus is in. Lonus is a new addition from my point of view, but I think we make enough creatures in this deck that it makes it worthwhile to get the clues, and nicking someone else's stuff is always more fun than winning with your own stuff, so why not? Likewise, Neoform's in, so we can sack off one of the creatures that we may not need anymore to go and get one of the ones we really do need that come further up the mana curve. 3 drops, Chaos Warp's lovely. You take a gamble with it, obviously, but it does deal with that thing that might be about to kill you, so that's quite nice. Professional Facebreaker, just so we can get some treasure tokens to help cast things more. Wheel of Fortune, you know what it does. Likewise, Wheel of Misfortune's in as well. You know what that does as well. Be careful of Wheel of Misfortune, though. I have lost out on this a few times. Dryad of the Elysian Grove, to make sure we can cast everything we have, because every land's an additional basic type as well. So once you've got this in play, everything can cast everything. Growing Rights, to chuck down, get some more of our creatures into play, find them, get them, to, hopefully get them all flipped when we've got 4 creatures in play, which isn't that difficult, although we're playing, small numbers. Kodoma's Reach is a more ramp spell, which I missed out when I was talking through the ramp earlier. Wood Elves is more ramp. Elvish Archdruid is an inclusion by me. Again, it's not a card you see often, but there's enough elves in it that I think tapping it, you're going to be getting 2 or 3 mana off it when you tap it. Uro is one of the win conditions. We get it into play, we can escape it, we can lose some of the cards out of our library that have gone and have it come back in. And when we do cast it the first time, the 3 life in the land helps as well. Chromatic Lantern I've talked about. Shaskima of 1,000 Faces. This is great. The legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control, so you can copy some of your legendary stuff. So you can have 2 Vial Smashers in play, you can have 2 Thrasios in play, you can have 2 of some of the other legendary creatures in play that will really upset your opponents. Same reason we have Spark Double in here. It does exactly the same thing as all the others do. Damnation gives a bit of board control. Oracle of Mildai, so we can know what we've got coming up, and if we don't like it, we can, cast one of the ramp spells, shuffle it away, change things around with Sensei's Divining Top if we need to. Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter, helps us draw. Kess is there so we can do the exile and get the more spells out of our library. You've seen Mana Drain, you've seen Cyclonic Rift. It gives us 2 options, 2 ways of using it if we haven't managed to shuffle them back in with the Elixir of Immortality, so hence why it's here. Seedborn Muse, so we can keep untapping all our permanents if we need to, which is quite nice for several reasons, card draw. Tatiova, Benthic Druid, we have a lot of ways of putting lands into play, so we might as well have this in play so we can get those extra life gain and card draw off it as well. Speaking of card draw, Consecrated Sphinx. Yep, it's one of those decks. I told you it was powerful. You all know what it does. Your opponents draw a card, you draw 2 for it. You can draw 2 for each one they draw. We haven't got in here, which is probably an oversight on my part, any way of making our hand size maximum that's static. So I'm talking about the land, I'm talking about the artifact that does it. We have got one way of making our hand completely unavailable, but we have to make sure we get a hit in with the creature first, and I'm coming to it shortly. Ancient Copper Dragons here, again, treasure tokens, helps us hit the stuff we need to hit. Seasons past, return any number of cards with different mana values from your graveyard to your hand and put that on the bottom of your library. Seems like a reasonable inclusion. You could take this out and you could play Dockside Extortionist, which is one card that is missing from this deck at the moment. And do you know what? I think it's probably better than Coiling Oracle now I've thought about it. So we are going to put in Dockside while I'm sitting here. He says, trying to work out why it won't come in. Reset. Dockside. I do own a Dockside Extortionist. You've seen it in lots of my other decks. There we go. Let's chuck that in while we're sitting here talking about it. Arjun the Shifting Flames, so we can go through our deck. There are cards we want to make sure we hit and things we get out. Arjun really helps us do that. It's also a nice 5/5 flyer in the air that's hard for people to deal with in some cases. Speaking of things that people hate dealing with at the moment, Jingatax's Progress Tyrant. I have to say, considering this card came out in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, its price on MTGO is crashed. It's down to like 30 cents or something at the moment. I think I picked this up for today. In real life, it's really expensive. You're trying to do the paper version of this. But MTGO is your friend. You might as well pick it up while you can. Likewise, Nexus of Fate. I think everyone groans when they see this card now. Everyone got so fed up with it in Standard when it was legal back when M19 was up and running. But nowadays, again, it's a cheap card on MTGO, expensive in real life, but it really helps with this deck because it does help you get there, and it's worth having. Speaking of things that are expensive and help you get there, Nyx Bloom Ancient. Let's triple everything. Or anything that produces mana, let's produce 3 lots of it instead of just 1 lot. Makes sense. One of the main win conditions is Karavek the Merciless, hence why we have all the ramp and all the rest of it in the deck at the moment. We want our opponents to be taking damage as they cast their spells, and this is the best way to do it. Lovely fact, if you've got this in play, copy it with these two. Don't copy it with Phantasmal Image because you will die, so it doesn't take the legendary rule out. These two do. So 2 copies of this in play and your opponents will groan and they will hate you and they probably won't ever play against you ever again. But, you know, you've probably won the game by that stage. So, swings and roundabouts. Treasure Cruise is here for the card draw. Likewise, here's the only way we've got to make sure we have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Ancient Silver Dragon. It's still quite expensive in all formats. It's not cheap on MTGO. It's definitely not cheap in real life, like Ancient Copper Dragon isn't. But in this deck, it works really well because it does give you that. You have no maximum hand size once you can get 1 hit in with it, and that's all you need to do. Once you've got that, you'll be away. Got Blasphemous Acting as a bit of control, so we can blow the board up if we need to, if we're getting behind. And the last 2 cards, Ulamog, Infinite Gear. Now, you could play the other version of Ulamog that comes into play and destroys 2 permanents, and when it attacks you, exile the top 20 cards of opponent's library. I don't own that version. That's probably the better version for this because it's a little bit cheaper at 10 and not 11, but I've got this one. I didn't want to buy the other one, so I've included this. They're swappable from my mind, so feel free to do that. Final card, Torment of Hailfire. You'll have so much mana in play eventually that you'll be able to get this off and win the game with this, I would imagine, in most cases. So that's it. That's probably one of the more competitive decks I've done on the channel. I suspect there are cards I've missed out. If you've got this pairing, if you've got Vial Smasher and you've got Thrasios kicking around somewhere, let me know what you think. I'll be interested to see if anyone else has got a different build on it. If you've got a different build, leave it down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what I've missed. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come and follow me on Twitch as well. Twitch has gone up a bit since the last time I mentioned it. We're up to 121 on Twitch at the moment. Haven't got that many subscribers, but that's not what I do it for. But if you can come and give me a follow on Twitch, I'd love that as well. And then we can, you know, once you follow me on Twitch, you get access to our Discord, which is looking fantastic. One of the things I did show in my birthday video a few weeks back was the lovely spreadsheet that Cadence keeps up to date for us. That's still going strong. He's made a few more changes to it, so there's a new version on it, but I only give people access to the Discord once they come and follow me on Twitch. So bear that in mind, but that's it. That is my little Vial Smasher and Thranos deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, if I've missed anything, let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. See you soon. Bye.